Hello, my name is Justin Bright, and welcome to Kerbal Space Program version 1.2.2, in which I am attempting to make Kerbals a multiplanetary species. And here we have the Minty Logistics ship that I am sending in to attach to Minty Station to actually allow it to access Planetary Logistics. And here we can see Minmus coming in with the satellites cruising around it in their various orbits. So we are going to be landing this right around the planes, right around Minty Station. So let's target that. Beautiful. Let's just do the standard circularize at the periapsis. So in 2.5 hours we will do that. Let's see. That's actually only going to take us 162 of my 308 meters per second that remain. So this stage up here is actually going to be very capable, we'll say. It's going to have some fuel. It's going to have tons of fuel, 1,800 meters per second of delta V remaining, and it has a little docking port on it. So I guess technically I could reuse it. I'm not sure what I would use it for, but... And burn to enter into orbit around Minmus. Shoom. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, so the Minty Logistics module is just now coming in, and I still have the transfer stage attached, and because we have just a little bit of fuel left in that, so looks like we are coming down nicely though. This is about as good as I could ask for. So we're coming down, and now I'm just going to spend the last little bit of fuel to slow it on down. Then we're going to kick this thing off. Extend, and then activate these engines. Looks like we are just about over top, so let's slow it down, slow it down. Looks like we are getting into physics range, and I have some plans on fixing that we'll be doing here shortly, but in the meantime, let's just try to get this thing landed. I have some tricks up my sleeve for making this a little bit easier to maneuver. Alright, we're coming down. Still not in the right place quite. I want to be coming actually just about straight down at this point. Oops, that's not the right way either. Kaboom! All right. Surface. Yes, we want to be checking the surface velocities. Yeah, we're coming just about straight down now, which is perfect. We still have signal. Everything looks good. So let's rotate, and here is where I will show. Well, I'm going to save my game. Close the alarm window. Turn on RCS, and I have actually added some Werner engines on the side here that I can use to hopefully maneuver laterally while I'm descending and holding this thing pointing straight up, because I don't want to deal with whipping this thing around and angling it and so forth. Alright, so we're actually pretty much where I wanted to be, which is great. Let's see, we want to go a little bit more this way. Not this way, this way. I want to come down just about in between the refueler and the station itself. There, so now I can use these Werner engines to control my horizontal move speed while I'm descending. So I could, in theory, hover while maintaining my vertical velocity in a particular place so that I could use that to fly around and get myself in the exact spot that I want to be. Alright, and so we'll probably set this down gently in between the two. Then I'll send out a technician to unplug, and then we will get this thing situated exactly where I want it and then replug things in. Oops, okay, nope, other way, here we go. There, we want to go straight down now. Bonk. Okay, careful now. Come on, man. Push. Push. There we go. There. That was weird, but worked out just fine. And we have tons of fuel left over. Let's save the game. Alright, Garina Kerman is our mechanic. Whoops. And she is heading out now to do some... to grab a screwdriver that we have set up inside the logistics center so that we can start making some changes to the station. And then the next thing we're going to do as soon as we get this hooked up, because we need this to be hooked up before I can make any significant changes. But the plan is, let me see, can I get, can I get the inventory, please? Maybe? I put the parts in the seat, like seat 0. And now I'm starting to wonder if that was a bad idea. Maybe if I jump in? Whoops, what are you doing? You're like stuck on the scaffolding on the side there. Alright, come on. Easy. Grab. Board. Garina's inventory. No. Shoot. Well, what happened to the inventory? There was a pile of screwdrivers in here. All right, so when if you can't seem to get it done back from Kerbin, just do it yourself. I just realized that I have the workbench, so I'm just going to make one. Why don't I just make a screwdriver myself right here on site using material kits that we have on hand. So we're just going to do that. Ta-da! Screwdriver finished. Now the question is, where is it now? Alright, after a tremendous amount of finagling, I have a screwdriver! This is the greatest triumph of my career. And I have no idea why. I feel like it does not need to be this complicated. But yeah, once the workshop finished creating it, it just went someplace. Who knows where? So, we're going to unlink this. Now, I am going to take the Minty Logistics module. We're going to F5. I am going to lift off and just slightly move over. Please do not tip. All right, that's fine. We can just have this as at a halfway point in between the two. I don't need to have it real close or anything, I don't think. All right, Garina Kerman, now you can link this to the logistics module. Eventually. Link. Wonderful. Now I even have a second airlock in here, so we have another another airlock that Kerbals can get in and out of. Alright, so go in from the airlock, go to... Let's see, where can you go that's actually going to have... Here, we'll put you in the... I said we'll put you... Oh gosh darn it. Actually... I forgot, I actually need to do this. Link. Easy. Link. There we go. Now we're all set up. Oh my goodness. Looking forward to the cleanup that we're going to be doing here shortly. 5. Alright, so my quartermaster has finally been moved into the logistics center. I'm a little bit afraid to open the panel, but... Da-da-da! Material kits, gypsum, and fertilizer all being exported. Carbonite not being exported, but it is now. I assume... Let me see. Carbonite, 100 and... Well, we had a whole bunch, but now we have a whole bunch of fuel. I think. Yes, very rapid production of fuel and oxidizer. Yes, we've got it now. All right, so now we have finally finished up this first phase of Minty Station. But unfortunately, before I get to that, let's land this additional carbonite driller, which is going to look very similar to the previous one that I landed in an episode a little bit ago, and I was just crowing triumphantly about. So in between that last little bit and this, I did some research and I actually did some posting on the thread for MKS, and I discovered that I had Planetary Logistics all wrong. I discovered that Planetary Logistics doesn't work like I thought it did. Vessels that are not targeted or active or loaded in some way don't push to the Planetary Logistics. So just setting up a driller with a bunch of drills and a little bit of space and a logistics module does not actually like automate as much resources as you can handle. You actually are going to need to visit your vessel every so often to make Planetary Logistics go, oh, yeah, there's too much resources on this vessel. It has whatever large percentage of the total capacity is full of whatever the resource is, and I am going to push it out to Planetary Logistics. That doesn't happen automatically in the background because, well, this is Kerbal Space Program. That's not something that happens in the background for anything. Like, nothing happens in the background for the most part, except for orbital mechanics. So what that means is we're going to have to redesign a lot of our, well, we're going to have to redesign this, this very first thing. You'll notice that it has a big 2.5 meter carbonite container now, because now I want it to have large amounts of storage, so I don't have to visit them quite as often, because what's going to happen, and this is something that I got confirmed by Rover Dude, is you can make these autonomous drillers, but you just have to visit them every so often and force them then to push out to Planetary Logistics. I don't see any reason to decommission or otherwise destroy my other driller, so what I've done is I've just landed nearby. And up here you can see the StageRecovery. I got a whole bunch of funds back for this launch, so I didn't cheat this one in. I actually launched a brand new rocket, identical to the old one, but with some new parts. And we have a good, healthy supply of carbonite coming into this. but it's going to take a little bit of while for it to actually ship out. Oh, well, interesting. Well, it looks like there's a bit of a catch-up mechanic for the other driller. So this is something we're going to have to keep in mind as we go forward and design the rest of our autonomous drillers and assembly plants and everything else. As morning washes over Minty Station, I want to talk a little bit about some changes that I have made to my install. And also that the whole construction lander has fallen over. Okay, that's fine. Not what I was here to talk about. So what I did want to say was I have recently reinstalled my whole setup here because I was noticing that it was getting very laggy, very difficult to do things on Minty Station, and part of it is because I have a whole bunch of stuff here and a whole bunch of converters and so forth, but the other part of that is I've been updating my mod installs along with every update that comes through for all of the different mods that I'm using, and I've just been updating and updating and updating for the last several months that I've been running this YouTube series. And so there's been some bloat because I've added some things and I've removed some things, but I have now come to a point where I sat down and said, okay, well, let's eliminate one issue and just reinstall the whole thing from scratch, get all the mods from scratch, make sure I have the latest version of everything, make sure everything is being tracked and managed properly. And that's helped me to put together a more complete mod list that I can actually release with each one of these videos so that you guys can see exactly what it is that I'm using and what the heck is going on. The other part that precipitated this is I wanted to remove some parts, specifically extraplanetary launch pads, because as of this video, Rover Dude's MKS mod has rolled in the ground construction mod. So you'll see I have a nice new button here for ground construction, and I have some ground workshops, and I have no idea exactly how these work yet. I have no idea how this mod works. I haven't touched it or played with it at all, but it is the new preferred rocket building method that MKS has built in. So I'll definitely be doing some playing with that in the future. And like I said, I've removed extraplanetary launch pads because Rover Dude seems to like this one better. So I see no reason to fiddle around with multiple sets. I've also I've reinstalled stock visual enhancements. I'm using that one, but I'm using the low setting this time because I'm trying really hard to get to recapture from some frames per second, and you can see that it's running a little bit better. Like I'm on green physics time, and there's not a huge amount of lag, and I can jump out, and it's not horrible. So it's not perfect, and I'm actually planning on getting rid of some of this stuff. Like I'd like to move my carbonite refueling stuff out somewhere else. I have some plans that I'll talk about in a future episode probably, but I'm planning on trimming down this base and making this kind of a farming station because we get hydrates and gypsum both here. So there's the inclusion of ground construction. I've turned down stock visual enhancements to get some of that back. I've updated stock terrain enhancements. Let's see. What did I add? Oh, ship manifest. So I have ship manifest now, which should help me to move things around. Specifically, I want this so that I can, there we go, see ship manifest roster, and that's going to allow me to move respawn. I don't want that option. I don't even want that option available to me. So yeah, apparently there's some settings I need to tweak on this, but that's really strange. I figured this would actually just give me the local manifest control. Yeah, but this allows me to do crew transfer to other parts of the vessel from using ship manifest. So that should help me to maintain the control over all the different bits. I've switched out the Skybox because I just wanted to be able to get that done through CKAN rather than dealing with that manually. So I will have a list of that available for you all attached to each episode. So there is that. The other thing that I wanted to take a look at is I only have 197 supplies on Minty Station. And this is part of that discovery that I made in a previous segment where I noticed that I was not able to push to Planetary Logistics unless I was focused. I've also found that Minty Station is net positive on supplies, but only if I'm watching it, which is frustrating. So I think one of the things that I'm going to be doing in the future is adding to the ability of this base to produce supplies so that I don't have to worry about that anymore. And that will be very, very nice. Okay, so I think that that's all of that I wanted to go through. You'll see that I've been pushing my carbonite out to the this carbonite converter here, turning that into LFO, and this massive thing over here, let's see, we can actually take a look at it with this fuel tanker. It's almost full, which is just awesome. So I've been able to produce just a huge amount of fuel and get that loaded up. So when the Starlifter shuttle, which is actually getting back into Minimus' sphere of influence, comes back, I should be able to refuel it fairly quickly. Unfortunately, I don't know what I'm going to do about the Hulk Constructor Lander. Let me see if I can't send somebody out and... oh, there's one other thing. I have portrait stats installed, which allows me to actually see the level and the class of each of my Kerbals right on their portrait, which will make things much easier as I'm doing this. Between that and the ability to EVA and transfer from their portraits is going to make things much easier. And speaking of all of these lovely colonists, I wanted to talk for just a second before I try to figure out the constructor lander. This colony statistics panel. So this shows how much work that we've done on colonizing a particular body. So in this case, this is how much work we've done on Minmus, and it represents the sum of our knowledge in each of various areas. And if we get this colonization value, for example, up to 500%, that means the place is livable like home, and it no longer adds to... Kerbals there no longer have homesickness issues if they have 1 year or more of living space, which is super cool. And I think that that's going to be what our goal is when we get to Duna. But one thing, as you're building that, you should also get colony rewards. And I've been saving this for a while, and I wanted to see what this looks like. So check colony rewards. Boom, 44 science, 300,000 funds, and 90 reputation. So every single Kerbal that you have on a particular landed base generates colony rewards as well as colonization research, I guess. I'm not sure exactly what to call that. But they generate those things, and while they do that, they generate the colony rewards, which you can then cash in every so often for fun, science, and reputation to make this an actual... a profitable venture eventually someday. And each Kerbal that you get, all the different flavors of Kerbal, like the miners and so forth, they have particular tasks that they can accomplish. Colonists don't do anything. They're basically tourists that you can actually direct around and EVA and so forth. But you'll see here, effects. A colonist that increases funds, science, and reputation. They generate all flavors of rewards, while, for example, a farmer only increases science and reputation. So there's some combination thereof for each of them. But having a bunch of colonists is the way you're going to make a whole bunch of money and make a place livable for the future. So I just wanted to go over that very quickly because I think that's super cool. And now that I've been sidelined by the sideline, let's go ahead and have Samtha, not Samtha, I have a mechanic somewhere. What is her symbol? Where is everybody? I feel like I'm missing Kerbals here. Oh, wait, hold on. Is it that gear? Yes, Garena Kerman, our mechanic. It's gonna hop right out. Look at that. Look at how much better this is. This is so much better. It's not like, you know, single pod out in space type smooth, but gosh, this is just such an improvement after just uninstalling everything, Kerbal Space Program, and then reinstalling my mods and the game. It just made such a difference. Alright, so I don't know what I'm going to do. Who picks up the, you know, thing that you sent out to pick things up, I guess is the question. But let's see if I can't. I want to see if I can do something completely ridiculous and just pick the thing up directly. Oops, first I'm going to bonk my head. Yes, just pick it straight up, yes. Oh, that's ridiculous. Alright, well, we F5'd. Let's see what happens. Kaboom! I knew exactly what was going to happen when I did it anyways, because that's really funny. Well, I wonder if magic will happen and it'll land on its feet. Here, what if I try to be ridiculous and then wait till it is landed over, well, not landed, but wait till I see it with its wheels down and then time warp. And kaboom! Okay, that's silly. Alright, so what if I just try to attach it to itself? Yes, looks like I can get this very close to being able to get the wheels out of the ground, which is what causes it to like pop up and explode. So, hey, let's try it. Hey! And wait, I think... Yes! Wait, what? Oh god, I have invoked the Kraken. What is happening? Alright, maybe it's got something to do with the ballast here. Let me try unloading these. Click, unload, unload. You remove a bunch of rocks. It seems... Whoa, don't fly away. Well, it seems to be reacting. There we go. Huh. That was very strange. What I ended up having to do was unload all of the ballast on there, and then the weird Kraken-y behavior seems to have stopped. So now let's load rocks back up. I'll bet you there was something really strange with the way all of the different mods here that were interacting together. So I ended up using Kerbal attachment system to move and kind of recreate this vessel, and then there were these rocks that were loaded in here, and then this is part of its own mod that has servos and all these other things, and some kind of weird conjunction in there, I'm guessing, made some of these parts have like negative weight, is my completely uneducated guess, but unloading and loading this seems to have fixed everything, so we will just park it and everything will be just fine. Alright, so I think that is all the time I have in this episode, so let's just get our mechanic back to base. And if you enjoyed this episode, please feel free to leave me a like or subscribe down below. Let me know what you thought. And in the next episode, I think we're going to be getting to some planning, and we will definitely be getting the Starlifter shuttle back into Minmus' sphere of influence to rendezvous and start moving crew around. I'll see you next time.